Hi friends, it's Hawkins here. Today you are working on document E. Reminder, anytime you have a text to read and questions to answer, what do you do first? Read the questions. Good call. Follow along with me as we read. Number 1, what responsibility is given to the caliph in the first duty? Do we know what a caliph is yet? No. So we have two options. We can either read the text or we can Google it. Should we immediately Google caliph? No, make your life easy. Work smarter, not harder. And let's see if the definition for caliph is in the text. And if it is, then we'll be able to answer the responsibility that was given to the caliph in that first duty. Number 2, what responsibilities are listed in duties 2, 3, and 4? So what responsibilities does he have in those duties? Right there, 2, 3, and 4. Number 3, in American society, who is responsible for these tasks? So we have Muslim society versus American society. Who is responsible? Number 4, what was the pact? And number 5, based in this document, write a claim about what caused Islam to spread so quickly. So let's go ahead on up to the top. This is document E. The source of this is from a book called The Ordinances of the Government. It was written in about 975 Common Era by Abu al-Hasan al-Mawardi. Follow along with me as we read the note. In 632, following the death of Muhammad, the first caliph, there's that word, caliph is a spiritual ruler, sometimes called an imam, was selected to lead the Muslim community. So the caliph is the spiritual ruler because Islam is a religion, and caliphs were sometimes called an imam. Those two phrases are interchangeable. So I say, you say, caliph. No, you actually have to say it out loud. Caliph. Good. And then imam. Not imam, imam. Cool. Over the next 3 centuries, the duties of the caliph were firmly established, with the understanding that the caliph would not delegate these duties to others. The excerpt below from a book of Islamic law written by an Arab judge in the 10th century outlines 4 of the 10 public duties of the caliph. It's actually 5, but we'll do what we can. Okay. So we have our background information. Now let's take a moment and actually read the text, okay? We're looking for the responsibilities given to the caliph. That's going to be in the first duty. So the answer to number 1 will be here. The answer to numbers 2, 3, and 4 will be here. Do we see how this works? Yes, we're good. Hawkins, move on. Good point. Okay. Number 1. To maintain the religion according to established principles and the consensus of the first generation of Muslims. If some dubious person deviates from it, the imam must clarify the proofs of religion to him, expound that which is correct, and apply to him the proper rules and penalties so that religion may be protected from injury and the community safeguarded from error. So there's actually a lot of duties in here. So the first and foremost is he needs to maintain the religion according to the established principles of the first generation of Muslims. So remember, this text was written about 300 years after Muhammad died. So it's been about 300 years, but they are still following the rules set down by the first generation. And if, heaven forbid, somebody deviates from it, somebody goes astray from that, then the imam, it is the caliph's job to clarify the proofs of religion to him, to expound which is correct. So, hey, this is your job, here's how you do it, and apply to him the proper rules and penalties so that religion may be protected from injury and the community safeguarded from error. So it's essentially, this is your job, here's how you do it. If you do it wrong, here's what happens. So all of that is the imam's job, is to make sure all of that happens. If you need to, pause the video so you can so you have time to answer the question. Moving on, number 2, to execute judgments between litigants. Litigants are people involved in lawsuits. We know this is the definition because it's in square brackets right there. You see that square bracket and that square bracket, right? So litigants are people involved in lawsuits, and to settle disputes between contestants so that justice may prevail and so that none commit or suffer injustice. Number 3, to defend the lands of Islam and to protect them from intrusion so that people may earn their livelihood and travel at will without danger to life or property. And number 4, to enforce the legal penalties for the protection of God's commandments from violation and for the preservation of the rights of his servants from injury or destruction. So, please, for number 2, do not just copy that. That's way too much copying. Instead, I want you to paraphrase. What are his responsibilities in duties 2, 3, and 4? And then number 3, in our current American society, who is responsible? I'm going to tell you right now, different people are responsible for 2, 3, and 4. Okay, there are 3 different people, or groups, really. 3 different groups that are responsible for that. And then the last thing that we are reading, it is the imam's duty to wage jihad. Jihad is a holy war against those who, after having been invited to accept Islam, persist in rejecting it until they either become Muslims or they enter the pact. There's a star there, we're going to come back to that. The pact so that God's truth may prevail over every religion. So, what is that? We know that we have to answer what the pact was. That little star. Why doesn't it just put it in? We got the star there, so it's there and there. Why does it not just give the definition or the explanation in square brackets like jihad and like litigants? Exactly. That right there is way too much information to add in the middle of the text. So instead, the author did what we call a footnote. So they put that little star saying, hey, there's more information here. And then the rest of the information is right down there for you. So the pact was an arrangement often made by Muslim rulers that permitted conquered Christians, Jews, and other non-Muslims to continue to practice their religion if they paid a special tax called the jizya and obeyed Islamic laws. I'm not sure I said that right, sorry. But same thing as with with number 2, with duties 2, 3, and 4. Please do not copy that directly. I want you to paraphrase. Prove to me that you understand what the pact was. And then, number 5, based on this document, write your claim about what caused Islam to spread so quickly. Okay? If you have any questions, as always, please do not hesitate to ask. Be good people, make good choices, and go Vikings.